assigning and having additional staff work on this.
The advisory out of New York State does not suggest people should not travel to Ontario. It encourages people to get vaccinated if they are not already, to protect against contracting the virus.
As long as you're up to date on your routine childhood immunizations and have immunity to measles, there would be no concern whatsoever.
The travel advisory lists a number of other countries that have had an increase in the number of measles cases this year, including Yemen, Pakistan, India, Thailand, and Ethiopia. There have also been nearly 500 cases reported in the U.S. this year. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
I vote every time.
Every time, never fail.
Never fail.
Everyone in town is very opinionated, so that way it doesn't really surprise me.
As the GTA struggled with low voter turnout in the last election, one Ontario riding told a different story, boasting some of the highest voter numbers in Ontario. Coming up after the break, we bring you the latest part of our federal election series, Your Voice, Your Vote. Stay with us.
A diaper this leak-free sets them free. Only Pampers Cruisers 360 have a 360 stretchy waistband for up to 100% leak-proof fit on every wild child. Pampers Cruisers 360, the #1 pull-on diaper.
Take 6 contestants. Mix in 1 high-energy host. At a grocery store full of ingredients.
Grab anything and throw it in your cart.
Mix vigorously. And you have the recipe for the 90s hit game show, Supermarket Sweep.
Put on your helmets, it's going to be a bumpy ride.
It's the most fun you can have in the grocery store.
I'm exhausted and I've been sitting back here.
Supermarket Sweep.
Watch Supermarket Sweep, now streaming free on Roku. You don't need to be a movie buff to love Cinevault classics. You just need to love movies.
You got it.
Maggie, I'm desperate.
Movies with adventure. We're into something bigger than we thought. Laughs.
This is most terribly complicated.
And romance.
Don't you know I got a low boiling point?
But hey, movie buffs are welcome here too.
What an excellent
Do I
idea.
look fucking well?
Cinevault classics.
I feel like I'm gonna have a stroke. I should go to the hospital.
I'm Sandra Lee, and I'm challenging
coming on terms
Home
with
Cook
my
to
mental
create a
illness and shit.
5-star meal on a 2-star
I
price
got-
tag. You substituted mushroom for the steak. That is a
I hear
hack of all
voices and
hacks.
shit, and they tell me what to do. And it's like I have tricks.
Oh, yeah.
We've got all you can eat.
Talk to myself out loud. I say something so oblivious.
Tuna channel. Serving up
What even?
episodes 24/7.
Nobody would be talking to me.
Place up.
I'll laugh to myself for hours.
Wicked tuna.
I feel sick though. I feel like actually like inside of my brain
On the
is
Wicked
gonna have a
Tuna
fucking
channel.
stroke.
Okay, better than that.
I don't feel very fucking good. What should I do? I'm coming to terms with my schizophrenia. It's like it's something I never really have come to terms with, but now I can really, like other people would say, you don't see it, but other people can see it, and I'm at the point where I've been away from the things I normally do, and I find it hard to do the things that other people do, like the normal things in life. I can't really do them all that good. But I'm watching the news, I'm watching the Toronto news, not the CP24 one, not the one with all the fucking crazy shit going on there. There was a lot of shootings and stuff on that one. Every single day you see like a new shooting and stuff on CP24. It's rough. But now it's like, I'm just watching the chillaxing news. They pretty much said the weather was
Welcome
bad.
back. Last
And,
week we told you about alarmingly low voter turnout in
somebody got hit
GTA
with a
ridings
tree
in the last
falling
federal
down and
election.
died.
But
I
just
feel really
across the
bad.
lake, the story is quite different, with Niagara West recording some of the highest voter turnout in the province. Chris Glover heads out there to find out why.
Here in the riding of Niagara West, we found a bit of an anomaly when it comes to voting
I was
in
thinking about getting a
Ontario.
haircut, but I just kind of like having long hair.
Everyone in town is.
I'm going to try a different
So that way
style
it
for a
doesn't
little
really
while.
surprise me.
I'm going to have the long hair.
People are more aggressive.
I'm going to grow up my beard.
I think more people are
I'm gonna
more
wear the
engaged
punk
now than they ever have
clip-ons.
been.
Trafficking in it
I'm
every
going
day.
to wear some plaid.
Traffic
Use new
voter
pants
engagement
with
arrests.
cords.
That's right.
I got Converse. I look the way that I really want to look.
Outside of the
Everything
Ottawa
about getting
area,
fedora.
this riding saw the highest voter turnout in the province in the last election, with
And,
just over 71%.
That would be
It doesn't
kind
really
of cool to have a
surprise, like
fedora.
everyone in town.
That'd be
is
that.
very
I'm known for wearing a
So
lot
that
of
way it
hats.
doesn't really surprise me.
But like, that would be the hat
One way
of
or the
hats.
other, we're all very strong opinions.
Do you think it's because in a smaller town and smaller area like this, maybe people
I
are
think I
closer
smoke too much
to
and
levels of government, to municipal
my
services,
chest
to
and my
provincial, federal
head are-
services, so maybe they see
the oxygen or
the
whatever
workings of
intake
government
I've
more
got.
closely? I don't know.
It could be. Our
It's
mayor
fucking
is out a lot.
fucking up.
Yeah, she was here
My
today.
head.
Mayor, this almost sounds like a dumb question. But
I feel like I'm
government's
gonna
about-
have a stroke.
I don't think so.
And I had to do some exercise. I do like,
Probably not.
Yeah, no.
you know,
What's the secret
move my
sauce
body
in
and try
Niagara
and
This is an agricultural
sweat out
community.
some,
These are well
get a sweat
They may
going
have
on.
2 degrees.
To try and
Farming
make this
is very
feeling in my
scientific
head,
work.
like
They
a blood
know
clot or
that
something
in
move.
order to
But
be
it,
successful,
I found out
attracting attention
the
at that level, you've got to be
the
tuned
le-
in,
the
and you have to
there's like
be
a
engaged
lesion
in who they are.
separate
They have
from a different the
expectations.
part
I
where
think people just
I was
feel if you're
exercising.
not gonna vote, then you don't have
It-
a right to say anything.
But that would be true across the province. So what's different about it
fucking
here?
built up this
Maybe people,
and it
people
was
are more
like
aggressive.
bleeding in my head. And then I'll nearly pass out. I'll go, my eyes will roll back in my head and nearly pass out.
I'll admit I'm kind of a political junkie. I used to be a director
sick.
of a library over at Queen's
for a couple
Park at the
seconds, and
Legislative
then
Assembly.
maybe
So
I'll feel like I'm gonna throw up or I'm
so
gonna
I do
fall
follow
over.
politics and events around elections and
I could
other
really
kinds
go to
of
hospital
things
right now.
happening in government quite
got-
actively, which
wanna
is
get rid of
also
this
why
pain in my
I
head
vote.
right now.
That's right. As I say, I can see what the implications are, both if you vote and
I feel like if
you
I
don't
just
vote.
go for like a run, like a run, like for about
Well, for one
like an
thing,
hour.
I'm
Not only would I
sure that you
lose a little bit of that weight that I put on from
have
eating
the
a whole
right
bunch
to
of ice cream
complain
and
about what's happening
carbs
if you
over the
don't
winter
at least
time,
try to
but
exercise your vote. I mean,
maybe
obviously
I would
you don't always get
feel better
the
in my
results
head,
that you hope for
get
when
some
you
circulation
vote,
and maybe
but,
pump that clot
as I
into
say, I
like
do think it's important to be
you know, a
engaged
more
in that
relieving
process.
location.
And we're lucky that we live in
Maybe
a
wait for me
democracy
later for me to
where
have
we
full blown
can
stroke.
have that option of
But
voting.
I'm
Why
getting
do you think
really
you've
old
always
and I've
found
smoked my
it
whole
important or
life.
had an interest in politics?
I just feel
One
like
of
I'm
the
gonna
reasons
die in
is
seconds.
'cause
today.
I
Starting
am
today, I feel
young,
like I'm just
queer,
ready to accept
chronically ill woman.
death.
So a lot of it, especially
I
politics
don't feel so
now,
fucking good. And I don't ever go to the hospital.
they
I just,
do not. They're
I don't think
weaponizing
the Lindsay
my
Hospital
identity and my
or
experience
the Peterborough
and the
or
experiences of
Oshawa
others
Hospital is
for
going to
fear
help me.
tactics
Like,
or for
what am I going to go
brownie
get? I could
points. One
go get an
thing
MRI
people are
or
afraid.
something like that.
People like me are afraid that our rights are going to be taken away. So
But I couldn't actually
vote.
fucking even,
People on the other side are worried
like,
that
imagine what if
they're
I
going to pay higher taxes.
had to get brain surgery or something.
Terms
No,
of
I think I'm good.
reasons
I
why
might
it be
just
a higher
deal with
voter
the
turnout, that
pain.
anger on both sides.
Rather than having some of these.
Those are all things that would be
Not
true
only my
right
big
across
Bob
the province
fucking
of Ontario. What
shagadelic
else
fucking
do you think might
haircut,
be
but maybe
contributing?
fucking
We are in a privileged
Give me a
area,
lobotomy
so
warrant.
people have the options to vote.
$20
People have the education
lobotomy
to
at
know what to
first
vote
choice.
for or to know how to go about that. There's a lot of accessibility, which is fantastic. That
just
a lot of more
feel
rural
sick.
areas wouldn't get. So it's just easier
I
to
want to try
vote.
talking.
Every election,
See
you
if I
hear
can function
politicians
a
say
little
that
bit
this is the
normal.
most important election of their
Try to come to
lifetime.
terms with my
But,
mental
you know,
illness, which I do
I'm
have.
going to now say this is one of the most important elections of our lifetime because, you know, and I think there is that sense Now, the question is, does
come to
that
terms with
translate
maybe the
into
end
turnout?
of my
And I
skateboarding
think
endeavors.
that's really
Maybe a
determined
little bit
by the
more gonna
parties and our
happen, but
political
just
leaders,
more so,
whether they mobilize people
you
with
know,
a
taking a
positive
different
message
approach
that
to
mobilize
life.
young
You know, something
people.
less
In 2015,
demanding,
here, we saw the greatest increase
physically
in youth participation in a
and
single
socially
election, 18% increase
obscure.
in youth
I
participation.
mean,
Because there was a
demanding
positive
socially
vision
obscure.
offered
Demanding
for
and
what this
socially
country
obscure.
could
By
be.
that I
I've
mean
also heard, though, that
physically
anger is a great motivator for
tormenting
people. What is the research
the muscles
show in
over and
terms
over
of people who are mad
until I'm
going
just
out to vote?
completely defiled,
Yeah, 100%.
or become a robot
Anger
from
is
the
a
waist
very high
down.
motivator. We saw that.
You know, I
in
mean,
the
it
US,
makes me
in
feel
the
strong,
first
getting
Trump
some
election,
skateboarding in and stuff.
with Hillary Clinton.
And the
both
social
parties were
demanding
really
part of it is
building up politics.
you
of
gotta
vision,
be
of
a person
anger, of hate
who
of the
looks
other
and acts like
side.
a
And we saw the highest
skateboarder and
voter
does
turnout
skateboarding
in
tricks and
modern
all this
U.S. election
stuff.
history. I hope in Canada we're not
You
going to
gotta
go that
have a
way. I
certain
don't
mindset
see
to do that,
us
but I
going that
find
way
just
in
doing
this
it
election.
kind of repetitive.
But that is a way to
I
drive
could say the
voter
same things
turnout,
over. Like, oh, look
is
at
to get people
let's see
angry
how
at the other side.
Buddy's
So you're voting
skating.
against something,
Lots of
not
touch
for
Buddy's
something.
skating.
People are
Let's
more
see what he's
engaged
up
now
to.
than they
See what
ever
he's
have
doing.
been because of what's
With
going
me
on
taking a
behind
break.
the scenes and
Over and
concerning
over.
jobs, concerning
I can't fucking do it.
where
I
even
can't
groceries,
really do it.
even
No
grocery
one
stores,
just
right?
all
You're at the grocery store. Someone
Yes.
says to you
Destroyed
they've never
physically.
voted before. What do you say to them?
And I
Get
feel
out
weak.
and vote.
Feel weak
Like,
in
you
the
can't
head.
complain if you don't vote. Like
What's this
every-
complaint
I'm
piece I
going
keep on hearing?
pain.
How often are you all walking around complaining
Complaining?
about politics?
Quite a lot.
But hey,
quite a lot.
hey,
Like,
hey.
Yeah. Everywhere you go, people are like at the
found a
grocery
classic.
store. It's all about prices going up.
Guess
and,
they got
you know,
James
looking for
Ready
the
beer.
Canadian alternative to an
Down at the
American
store.
brand, and well, what difference is
And
that
that's a
going to
throwback.
make? There's a lot
Way
of
back one.
engagement going
Remember
on.
drinking James
Maybe
Ready
that's the
beer?
secret sauce. It's just a part of the
And
fabric of
every
the
single
community here
time-
to talk about politics and talk
It-
about issues.
It was like
that doesn't surprise
this
me.
beer
I
went
haven't
out of
covered,
fucking
municipal
business
politics
for a
out this
little
way.
while. I haven't
And
seen
they've
it in
always
like
been,
4 years.
very civic-minded community. Having covered, town councils here.
It's not even as good
Usually
as
you
I
don't get a lot
remember,
of
but I
people
was
at
really
the
excited to
town
have
council
it.
meeting, but quite often you would have
And
large turnouts, and there's a lot of people who have been here for several
it was like,
generations, so they sort of
that's
got
good.
deep roots.
I'll
now.
try it. I'm so
They
excited to
also-
have it. I went to
even
the
people
cash
like-
register.
there's a
I
lot of
said,
people
hey,
who
this is
moved
like
here
one of
the
the
last
best beers I've ever had. I'm so
10,
excited to
15
have it.
years.
She's like, you look happy.
They
I
come
haven't
here, they
seen it
seem
in
to, like,
forever.
sort
I
of
can't wait to
grasp
try it.
onto
It's the
that
best beer I ever had.
civic-mindedness.
And I come home and I
It's
try it,
like
and
they
it's
know
like,
the
yeah,
law,
this is
they
okay.
they read the room and
It doesn't
they
taste that great at
want to
all.
be involved as
It
well.
doesn't have like a
If
good
we could figure out
particular
what it is,
taste.
it'd be nice because we need
But
more
it's
people
cheap,
voting.
Yeah, we
and
could
it gets you
print it
drunk,
for the rest of it.
That's right. Little guidebook or
meaning it's
something.
more than
We're
5%
expecting
beer.
turnout to be quite high. There does seem to be
Anybody who
a
drinks
huge
less than
amount of
5% beer
So if people are feeling enthusiastic about their options,
just
at the
doesn't
national
really
level,
need to be drinking
probably
beer.
going to be much more likely to go out and cast
You
a
know,
ballot than they would be. For
what
example,
I'm
in the Ontario
saying?
provincial election, I don't think there was a lot of
And
enthusiasm.
I'm not like a
about
huge
that
alcoholic at all.
campaign.
Like
And we saw that in the
I
turnout,
could
which
have
was,
been a
quite
huge,
low.
considered
I
a
think
huge
almost all the
alcoholic
teachers I know would probably vote
for a while
because
when I would drink
it's part
40
the-
ounces of
what
fucking
do
vodka.
tell kids to vote. So
Well, they say that education is
every
one of the
single
best
day.
predictors.
trafficking in it every day for sure.
That was an alcoholism problem.
Selling the vote, yeah.
Trafficking and
But I
voting
just
engagement.
enjoyed it, and I figured that that was an okay thing to do.
There's years I
Being in my
didn't vote
20s and
in
drinking a
elections
40
before.
ouncer of vodka
In
or
those
fucking
occasions where
40
you
Creek
didn't vote, what was the reason?
I was
every
working
single
a job
day,
that was like,
making
not
sure I
talking
have
to
a
lot of
40
people
ouncer
either,
by
like
my
a
side.
community reminder or that like healthy peer pressure to vote.
So as a journalist working in
But
a place where people are fueled up and
now it's
know
just
what's
like
going on,
maybe
I
a
think that
6-pack
makes your
every
job
once in a
easier.
while. I always have a beer.
And
I'm not going to go without a beer if I
maybe not more
want one.
difficult, more challenging. Like
I don't consider myself a big alcoholic, and then when I do think that I am an alcoholic, I'm just like, well, let's take a break for a little bit. And then I'll start making stupid, I'll figure out some random alternative to thing that like that
If it becomes
that I used to
more of a
do,
conversation,
like a
more
big
people
fucking
might get into
bio
this more.
fucking
I
video
think
vlog of
my
myself
generation
and my
really
music
needs
and,
to step
and,
up
and
vote.
not like more so my music.
Just repetitive.
I would just do
straight
vlogging and try and fucking throw myself on the internet and be like, oh, well, I'm gonna be a big influencer. And shit. That was my alternative alternative to being drinking when I was sober for a long time. Let's say that was 2 years without any consummation of drugs or alcohol. It's been a little longer now, but I'm drinking the booze. After a while, I developed this hatred for skateboarding. I mean, I like skateboarding. I can watch it. I always throw on professional skate
She
video.
was wrong. He not only killed my daughter, he killed me.
In public, I don't
Secretary
really feel like
has called it a barbaric
skateboarding
attack.
to be my public
Police officers said
portrayal of
they were
myself.
looking at a potential serial killer.
It
blood
bothers
everywhere.
me to know that it's
This is our
widely
potential
still
killer.
frowned upon
He would be
by
found
slowpokes
within 2 days.
and
I know
racist
my-
old geezers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be a total outcast for the rest of my life to some rich old geezers and people like that, and rich business Jew cunt fucking people to run my fucking life, make me feel ashamed of myself, put me down, grimace at me every time they see me, give me dirty looks if I step on a skateboard. It makes me just want to fucking punch somebody in the fucking face. And I don't like that feeling. I try to be really calm and normal. But it's not like I want that to be my public image. I mean, I don't always agree that skateboarding is the best trend at all. I think it was a really cool aspect to society, and it was a big development in physical growth and the capabilities of a human being. I thought that was extremely important and powerful, and a powerful movement, even politically, as in, hail Satan, smoke meth, shit like that. There's on the t-shirts and fucking all sorts of take your pills kind of fucking medication, or take your pills kind of advertisements and shit on it. It was like, I thought skateboarding had a really good message, but if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it very treading lightly. I'm gonna get good enough to do, I gotta work a little bit at it to get good enough to do some of the tricks that I normally do. Like, if I want to do a kickflip 50-50, I'm gonna have to work at getting the kickflips and the 50-50s. Those are two separate tricks that I have right now. I couldn't seem to put them together. But probably by June or whatever, I'll probably be getting back into kickflip 50-50s or something. And what I want to do is I want to kind of skate with somebody at City Hall or at Riviera or somewhere like the church. But nobody's really down with that. They're down to go and have a little social circle at the skate park. And I'm not very I'm so abstract that I would never fit into any social. And I think what you're doing there is great. You got the skateboard scene. But it's not much of a skateboard scene when you're putting everybody down and being mean and saying all these mean things about people and stuff. It's like, you're there to go and skate and ventilate those feelings and those emotions towards things without really harassing or putting somebody's feelings at risk. You know, things like that. That's the point of having a ventilating system in which you can, you know, kind of express yourself. And if you want to express yourself, that's okay, but I find that everybody's really uninformed and really kind of a jerk to everybody who they don't agree with. And I just don't like the things that people say.
To me as an NDP supporter, is,
they'll talk about
protecting and improving our
your
public
back
health
and
system.
stuff.
And I do think Carney will do that.
You don't have to be so mean, you know? I mean, I just go there, I want to go and I want to skate. I see my old skater friends or whatever,
Mr. Singh
and I'll go and
himself
I'll talk to them for a
jeopardy of
couple
losing his
seconds, I
seat
guess.
because the
And
NDP
this
has fallen
time
so
I
far in British Columbia.
decided that I gotta put down the skateboard a little bit and try and focus on an alternative lifestyle. I mean, it's the lifestyle that I think is most suitable for the human being is to do less.
Context of the minority government.
For instance,
I've seen the difference of
have a little Brian's Jonestown massacre moment without the Kool-Aid. You know, everybody just go take a little lie down and on the ground or something. Go in the grass and lie down together or something like that. Like, why is everybody gonna have so much hatred and fueling all these fucking negative energies? And it's not like the skate park's any good anyway. So what just go find something better to do than be a dick.
A subtle change.
And I like skateboarding a lot.
So I think it is now clear in people's minds that
I've
we're
never
looking
been
at a
particularly good at it.
minority liberal government, potentially majority liberal government. He's making his
Like,
pitch that every additional
I'm gonna watch the girls skateboarding on Street League and root for Ryan DeCenzo in Street League.
Before election day. David Thornton, CBC News.
But I'm gonna be like, that's gonna be the maximum potential of skateboarding that there could possibly be. I mean, there's that Japanese TV show or whatever where they do the big roller coaster rail or try not to fall in the water pit when they're going across like a fucking 70-foot rail, 80-foot rail. And
after holding his biggest rally so far on the
like,
campaign trail,
I don't know, I'm not even interested in it. I mean, they got all sorts of like skateboarding content.
Conservative leader
And I'm into video games too, like I want to get into like some Final Fantasy video games.
While criticizing his
PS2 was a big craze for a little while, but now I'm kind of growing out of the PS2 and I kind of want to get into the PS3. Because I think those games are really good too.
That were worth $25 billion.
And I don't know, my taste, my palate for everything in the world sort of changed.
You can't avoid your
I'm
taxes.
generally kind of
Global elites should not be able to either.
at risk
and that is why I
to
will
running
end
out
the
of
liberal two-tier
interest,
tax system,
and
where elites
that's
get
where I'm at. I'm
loopholes
running
and
out
working
of
people get audited.
I'm running out of
And
things
I'm
that
going to be putting
aren't
hard-working
repetitive
Canadians first
circle jerks.
for
And
tax havens are
the
not
most
illegal.
the most kind of like enjoyment I have out of something like that, something that I do quite regularly, and that happens, you know, whether you can choose to go do it or not, because you're just like, you just gotta accept that it's like, that's normal. It's just going and getting a coffee. I like going to Tim Hortons and I just like getting a coffee and having a good time, maybe talking to someone over the coffee table. It's just the fucking epitome of me having a good time now. I don't need to go throw myself down a 6 set and try to backside flip 5 times for my camera not to work, and then to put it on YouTube for to get 15 views, like 15 fucking views, and put a bunch of effort into something I say, and have nobody really appreciate or even understand kind of the morale behind what I'm saying, or why I'm doing it. But most of the time, it's just to make myself feel better, like, about how much of a not rich, spoiled old fart Jew fucking business construction fucking assembly line fucking slave human race fucking enthusiast I am. I just think that it's kind of a little bit different for me to go and try and cooperate with somebody with a skateboard in my hand than it is to go even with a guitar and go downtown and play guitar. I mean, and it's still pretty much frowned upon in my eyes. I don't feel good about going and playing guitar and people giving me $5 bills or tunies and stuff. Like, I'm a piece of shit when I do it. But it's kind of like, well, that's just the way it is, you know? I wish people could go out and they could do skateboard tricks for money. But it's not like you can go out and you can't make money off skateboarding. I'm sure that most of these people who are producing skateboard products are just doing it off their welfare check.
A political landmine here in Canada. The push for renewable
as far as I know, everybody's got their own
a new report says more than 40%
exponential fucking lifestyle to live, and I don't want anybody to judge me because I don't want to continue being a role model for younger people doing something that I don't agree with, you know? And I agree with skateboarding to an extent, but the only thing it's really good for is getting exercise and cleaning your headspace and getting some therapeutic headspace. But it's hard to do that in a public domain when everybody frowns upon you and you're just like, oh, keep skating, man, keep skating. Even though everybody is just driving you to fucking just smash a skateboard across your fucking head or go out, you know, like fuck people's day up and punch people in the face and hit people with a skateboard, for instance, would be the worst case scenario. As a skateboarder, you'd look like a piece of shit if you did that. Kind of video game lifestyles. Like, if you want to live like you're in Grand Theft Auto, or if you want to live like you're in Tony Hawk's Underground 2 where you just go and smack people with your fucking skateboard or something. Like, that's for a video game and not for real life. That's why it's in the video game, and that's why you're not doing it in real life. Because that's why, so you don't have to actually fucking kind of smash somebody in the head with a skateboard or go and rob a bank, or I don't know what the fuck's point of Grand Theft Auto is. I grew out of Grand Theft Auto a long time ago. I stopped playing Grand Theft Auto when I got halfway through Vice City, and I was like, this is alright, man, but I mean, the missions are pretty gay. The only thing cool about it is the graphics and driving a car around the city.
When you put that in context, we have a
and then it was just like, oh, I'm a skateboarder, and they came up with the skate video games. Oh, now I can ride a skateboard around the city.
Comes from hydroelectricity.
And like skate, or skate 2 or something like that. That was pretty cool, like open world skate
oil and gas as well as hydro.
And open world car driving games.
In some places, there's been a disincentive to.
But anything other than that, who really thinks that that's normal? Like, since when in a video game do you go out and you sell crystal meth? Like, it's fucked up.
What kind of demand growth we're going to see, and we do definitely have to be focusing on prioritizing wind and solar. They are the cheapest form of electricity.
Here we go. I'm going to give myself a fucking stroke, I bet.
If we increase the share of wind
I'm really unhealthy.
Grids,
and I'm just going to continue to get more unhealthy. I think I might go see the doctor or something and actually like get like a fucking interesting somebody interested in my fucking like an interesting physiologist as opposed to a psychologist for once.
The Royal Canadian Mint has unveiled
because
a new
I've
coin
never
to
had
commemorate
any
the
sort of pain like I've had in my head
Supreme Court of Canada.
For it seems like forever, but I used to have green out moments when I would smoke weed. I would just fall over and wake up on the ground when I was in high school. And when I was around 18, I would have extreme paranoia and anxiety, and I would just fall over, and I would start passing out, and my vision would go all blurry. And I would just fall over dead, and then I'd wake up and I'd be like, what happened and shit? And it would happen mostly, I figured, because I smoked a lot of weed, and then I stopped smoking weed, and it started happening. But I think what I did was I smoked something that wasn't quite fucking meant to be smoked, and I just kind of like gave myself like literal like physical lung damage. And then derogatory fucking boisterism in my brain due to the lack of circulation and you know, basically congestive heart failure is what I'm looking forward to. Anyways, I'm still at Fleming. I haven't been able to go for 3 fucking days because I've been up since fucking. I'll wake up at 2 in the afternoon, and I'll fall asleep at 8 in the morning. I have to get to school at 10 in the morning. It's fucking annoying, so I got some reason to fucking get to school or whatever. You tell me, but I don't feel like going to college, and I don't feel like really doing math tests. I just like being there for the academic environment. But it's just me being having a total mental illness makes it either easy to have friends, easy to maintain friends, if they're willing to communicate, but hard to initiate contact with somebody anymore. I don't like initiating contact with somebody because it falls pretty flat when I initiate contact with somebody. And anybody who initiates contact with me, I really appreciate, because it'll be a long-lasting friendship. So just keep that in mind. I'm just really funny and stuff. I don't look out and fucking, take advantage of anybody anyway, so.
We're in the fight business. All kinds of fighting goes on here.
Give that kid a contract!
There's no off-season in the UFC. The sickness is real. Ready?
I should be alright. I'm gonna have congestive heart failure, though. That's how I'm going out. I put too much poison in my body. Fuck, the amount of crack that I used to smoke and the amount of alcohol that I used to fucking smoke. It was fucking brutal. It's not good for you, man. The amount of alcohol I used to drink and the amount of cigarettes I used to smoke and shit. Unbelievably fucking bad for your health. You'll cough up fucking millions of fucking phlegm balls and your lungs will be dry. It's like, I was thinking about switching to vaping, right? And the only reason I don't do vapes is because they cost $20 and they last half the length of a fucking pack of cigarettes. So, I mean, I'm not gonna fall for that. I mean, I really like vaping. I like having a vaporizer, and I would like to do that. But it's a lot of fucking money for just a little vaporizer, especially the disposable ones. I did have the rechargeable and the refillable vaporizers, and they were cool. It was cool to have those, but they would die, they would break, something would happen to them. They'd just wear out. You'd have to go get new pods. It's like, this is a fucking
Last year, the
scam.
city introduced stricter rules for dangerous dogs, including requiring owners to display a city-branded beware of dog sign where they live.
You smoke too much of that, you're like,
officers
this is
are
fucking
finding
weird that I'm
some
just
owners
inhaling
aren't doing so. Tyler Chase
whatever the
explains.
fuck this liquid is.
Those dogs
There's still really, you don't ever research exactly what goes into it, and then you do look at it.
The city's Economic and Community Development Committee has approved a potential amendment to Toronto's dangerous dog bylaw. Last year, the city issued stricter measures to keep tabs on dogs with a history of violence.
Even for cigarettes,
that includes
considering
requiring owners to display a
estimated
city-branded sign
deaths,
at their home.
The sign has a QR code.
Outdo murders, alcohol, car accidents, suicides each 5 times over by tobacco.
Into the elevator, and it is for public health and safety.
But she says some condo buildings have rules against signage on doors and have opted to not allow the city's signs.
But I go through them really fucking fast.
It's the same as
I'll
fire
enjoy a
safety.
cigarette like
You can't
it's
say we're not
fucking
putting up an exit sign in
like heaven
our
on earth.
condo or anything to do with safety. This is a
I like
sign
smoke.
about safety.
Now, the proposed amendment adds explicit language to include condos requiring the sign to be displayed on the owner's door.
I don't like
the
doing
stricter measures that came into effect
I don't
last
like
year
little
also include a
pouches or
dangerous
whatever.
dog map, which
I like
includes
the
information about the
feeling
dog
of
in question
when I
and the incident
have
that
a
led to its
cigarette.
dangerous designation. The measures were first proposed in response to a
A
series
little
of
bit
dog
more than
attacks that
pretty
left
much
3
anything
people,
else on
2
earth.
women and a child, with serious
Other
injuries,
than maybe
but some
eating
say
fast
they're
food.
too strict.
My favorite thing to do in the world is get food. Okay? I'm an animal. Alright? And I'm a big carnivorous fucking animal. I never go out and I never get a salad. I'll go out and I'll get a double chicken burger or something like that. Or 3 chicken burgers.
Has been rehabilitated.
And it's got to have tomatoes and it's got to have mayonnaise on my chicken. And if it's a hamburger, it's got to be loaded with tomato, lettuce, onions,
and then
ketchup,
after that,
pickles. It's got to have all that shit on it. I don't even care for
whether the
cheese.
dangerous dog order should be
Cheese is only good on
And others
pasta.
say they'd like to see the city focus their efforts elsewhere.
I would like to see a better enforcement of the existing bylaws, specifically when it comes to the leash bylaws, ensuring that people are not letting their dogs off leash in areas that are not designated off leash areas in order to reduce chance encounters with wildlife, other dogs.
I might
who
just
may
do
not
some
be
haircuts,
comfortable
some crazy
being approached
haircuts
by
or whatever.
off-leash dogs,
And shit, and look stylish
to
for a little
avoid,
hobby on the
people
internet
who may
instead
not
of
want to be approached by
extreme sports anymore.
The amendment to the bylaw will
I'm
now
too
go to
lazy.
City Council at
I'm
the
too
end of the
fat.
month. Tyler
The
Cheese,
least I can do
CBC
is do
News,
some
Toronto.
body modifications
The
or
United
something to
States
myself.
and China are both
I might go get
vowing
another
to
piercing,
escalate
might
the
get my
trade
nose
war.
pierced
The
again.
White House confirmed it will effectively put a
Well, give it a lip ring?
104%
I
tariff
don't know.
on China
I don't
on
think I would.
Wednesday.
I don't think the
after
nose
Beijing
ring suits me,
refused
though.
to back off from its retaliatory tariffs on
I got
US
one of those
goods.
really round
Richard Madden has
noses.
the latest from Washington.
Well, it used to be anyway.
They will be
Just
going
have a
into
nose-
effect
yeah,
at
a nose going-
12:01 a.m. tonight,
Like
so
a mega ramp.
effectively tomorrow. Yes.
Right.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirming the U.S. will slap more
If
tariffs
I
on
just poke a
Chinese
hole through
imports,
that, then I should be good.
totaling an astounding 104%.
I only took it out.
igniting the
took it out
next
because
phase
I
of
figured that I was
President
going to
Trump's
get
global
punched
trade
in
war.
the
America does
face
not need other countries as
at
much
any
as other
moment when I
countries
had
need
that
us.
fucking
And
ring in
President
my
Trump knows
nose,
this.
and it was going to
The world's
hurt
two
like a
largest
filthy
economies
cocksucker.
refuse to buckle.
I didn't
Beijing
want to
now
get punched in the
imposing
face when I had a
counter-tariffs
ring in
against
my
the
nose.
US, calling Trump's actions
I was
bullying,
like,
a
no,
mistake
that would
on
really
top of a
hurt.
mistake. Saying
That
China
would
will
really
fight to
hurt.
the end.
I don't
President
want to get
believes that
punched in
she
the
and China
face.
want to make a deal. They just don't know how to get that started.
This
No,
follows an
I
intense
took it out,
hearing
and I
on
might just do it
Capitol
again
Hill,
because I don't feel
where
any
lawmakers
heat.
pressed
I don't
Trump's
feel like somebody's
trade
coming after me
representative
for any
for punishing
reason.
almost
I
every
just
country
don't.
with aggressive tariffs.
And
I still cannot fathom
whatever
why
reason I do
we are
fight,
treating Canada and Mexico,
pretty stupid.
our largest trading partners,
If I do get in a fight,
basically the same way we're treating
I will
Beijing. It doesn't
probably
make any sense
die
to
because
me.
I'm very,
Country
very out of
decisively
shape
voted for this president
now,
and his trade policy.
and
He
generally
knows how to use tariffs appropriately
I
to
don't have any
negotiate deals
skill
when
or
necessary to drive
training in fighting,
investment and
but whoever
manufacturing
can
back to the
fight
US.
is definitely
And
pretty
that's what we're doing.
retarded.
The
So,
administration now says some 6
yeah,
dozen countries
I
have
mean,
reached
just
out to
don't do
discuss
that.
trade deficits
Everybody
and
can pretty much
barriers that impede
back
US
themselves
exports.
up pretty
But
well.
these issues won't be solved overnight.
Pretty stupid
Still,
to
the
even
fallout over Trump's tariffs
conflict with
is
somebody
causing
around
cracks
here,
from fellow
because we're all
Republicans
pretty
worried
much
of
doing the same
economic
thing,
damage, rising inflation
except for the
costs,
people
and
at the
market
skate park
uncertainty in their
when I
local
go
communities,
there,
all caused
and they
by Trump's
disagree
tariff
with
and trade
everything
war.
else,
We
but
have to
they're
start
sitting in
from
a circle at the
talking
skate
about the
park
truth. One of
talking
the things I
shit
said
about
with Canada,
everybody else on
there's a
Earth
270%
when they don't do
tariff
anything
on dairy products going
except
to
for
the US and
fucking go
Canada.
to the
But
skate
you know what
park.
the real tariff is?
Just the
Zero.
opposite of
And
that
another more
nowadays.
high-profile break is
Like,
developing.
fuck
Trump's
skateboarding,
billionaire
I'm gonna go
advisor
and do
Tesla
everything else,
CEO
but
Elon Musk is a
like,
strong
I'm gonna
critic
go
of tariffs,
retire.
and White House
For
trade advisor
example.
Peter Navarro, who
I'm
is a
gonna
key
go and
architect
gonna
of them. Both
lay
are hurling
down
public and
my head
personal
for good
insults at
one
each
of these
other
days. I'm
over
just
the
gonna
direction and impact of Trump's tariff agenda.
for about
Richard
fucking
Madden,
7
CBC
days
News,
straight.
Washington.
And I gotta finish either, I'm gonna
At
either
least
finish
60 people
school
are dead and
or I'm gonna
160
fucking
others
quit
injured in the
and do it
Dominican
again later.
Republic after the roof
I'll probably
of
have
a
to go do
nightclub
the exact same
collapsed.
credit I just did and got the credit for already. And they're gonna be like,
It happened shortly
well,
after midnight in the Dominican capital, Santo
yeah,
Domingo.
you didn't
Rescue
really
crews are
remember any
looking
of
for
that shit when you
possible
came back
survivors still
to,
trapped under the rubble. The nightclub is a popular spot in the Caribbean nation. Politicians,
do the
athletes, and others were attending a concert when the roof fell. The cause is still unclear.
when you came back to reinstate yourself into the upgrading program.
The president is dead.
I'm on a mission for what's left of the government.
Fucking,
You're looking at the only human known
like,
to survive being bitten by a
I'll
zombie.
probably forget everything that I learned in my math class that I'm learning right now as soon as I'm done it. The only good thing about it is that I got the upgrading done.
I suggest we run for it.
I got half of what I needed to do done in like 1 year. And it's been a year, it's been September to January. It's 9, 10, 11.
Did you say home?
9, okay, so 9. I started the year before last year, September. I finished 9, 10, and 11 by the next September. And now I'm on grade 12 math, and it's been since last September that I've done literally 2. I'm on the second fucking tech math sub chapter, and I'm fucking failing miserably at it. I just don't think it's gonna work out. And I don't think me going to college and taking one of these courses and becoming a career associate with the professionals, I've already been able to take some courses that I'm already qualified for. Like I can go be an alcohol and drug fucking social worker or something, like addiction counselor. I can go be a PSW. I can even go be a fucking arborist. I can do other things. I just can't handle money. You know, like I can't, because I haven't got that math grade. I can't be like a businessman and run a business because I don't even have my grade 12 math credit. And which makes me feel ashamed because I shouldn't be running a store fucking counter when I don't have a grade 12 math credit, but I've done it before and I haven't had a hell of a lot of problems. You just know how to do fucking basic math, but that's it. It's not like a squared, no, 9a squared times 52a plus 96 divided by 36b times 36b squared times 46 divided by 52c squared times 52b times 60 divided by fucking 59 or some shit like that. 69 divided by 59 divided by 69. It's like, I'm gonna fucking literally nuke the entire human civilization if I have to go to school again. I watched some people come into my math class, some older fellas who just like needed the credit to get a job or whatever. And I looked at what I was doing, and I looked at the level of which he was comprehending some of the work that I overheard him doing. And I said, this guy's gonna kill himself. And I was like, I'm not gonna kill myself. I'm not gonna do that right now. And I was like,
Alright, Khalil is back with
I
your
didn't
long-range
fucking
forecast.
kill
And
myself.
Khalil, yeah, some treacherous
I'm pretty
roads
stoked,
this morning.
but I'm actually got a credit in math. I got my grade 11 math credit last September, and I could just go on for a little while. And I'll tell ya, I'll come back on here, and I'll let you know if I got the fucking grade 12 math credit, because then I'll have bonus credits for high school. I'll have 2 more credits than the average person. Because I've got all my compulsories, and I've got all the arts and all these other things too. I've got all. I took all the courses that I needed, and like I didn't fail high school. I just didn't take math in grade 11 or 12 because I had this girlfriend that I broke up with, and I didn't want to sit beside her anymore. It was like, I don't know, I had to kind of accept the fact that now I either have to downgrade into applied math or go and not take math at all, which became an option. They were like, you don't even have to take math and all that. I don't even want to put up like a cunt. And I was like, really? Really? That's so awesome. I don't want to be here. So now I'm more about the academic environment. I like my Indian friends that I made at high school. I think some of the hot girls that are from India were pretty interesting to talk to. And
that's going to start traveling towards the
some
city.
people that I know
quite unsettled,
at Fleming and shit.
The coolest of the days, we're only expecting a high maybe around 3 degrees.
They're all working together too. Like we're all just doing that. I swear to God, I had the hardest, most challenging course in all of Fleming right now, and I just don't feel like even committing to it anymore.
Close to 30
my mom and my dad are going to be like, "You're disavowed. You're disavowed. Don't come home. Don't come home." Go live on the riverside. Go jump and drink from the river and turn around and put up our walls, kind of thing. And I'll be like, okay, you gotta accept the fact that I tried, and I've tried to stay sober too, and I was legitimately clean sober for 2 whole fucking years after a lifetime of smoking and alcohol abuse. So I came a long way, and I don't see a lot of people going that extra distance. And you know what? Even if they did, they gotta kind of loosen up a little bit eventually and stop being a fucking stuck-up, miserable fucking prick and come have a beer. Come have a fucking beer. I'm just done with it. I don't care that much about my fucking health and skateboarding and fucking smoking drugs or anything. Just come have a beer. Come on. This is done. Everything is so meaningless. I can show you. I can show you what you need in this fucking life. All you need to do is just count on your brother.
Officials and Toronto's
just come here,
gotta look at
I'll guide you to the easiest paths in life.
tunneling is starting on the last
all
section
of that mental
stretch.
craze
This
and
tunnel
that
will go
pain that you go
500
through,
meters
the
east,
anger with
where it
your
will
parents
meet
and
up
your
with
brothers
the
and your
Eglinton
sisters and
Crosstown.
your family
Then
and your
in this
school and the
direction,
adults
the
around
trains
you,
will lead
all
the way
these
to
things
Mississauga.
can be bypassed with
But
one
that
simple
part is
technique.
still years away
And I
from
tell you that
completion.
it's not
The more
just fucking
pressing
going out and
question today,
skateboarding,
when the
and
first
it's
section
not
of the
smoking
crosstown
drugs.
will open. No
You
exact
gotta
date
just
yet.
get on some program, like a fucking program, like, you know,
You can already see
firstly
trains
start
running
out
on
with
the
like
line,
the Salvation
and
Army and do some
mid-March is to
volunteering,
train the TTC drivers.
and
There has been some
or like a
exceptional
church group or something like that.
Next, he says there will be more
realize
testing
the,
up
the
the line.
demand of the actual place is not for you to contribute to them, but for you to contribute to yourself and to find the things that you need for yourself that are only
But what I can tell you is
available to you if you just
doing the right things
are willing to do them.
for this project
So,
to come into service.
if you want a job and you're having trouble finding a job, you need to change your perspective and change who you are a little bit to go and find a job. And you got to do it over and over again. You got to pummel that place with your attention. You got to really not let the fact that somebody else got your job bother you. Like, it doesn't really fucking have to end that way, you know?
Just learned it is the largest transit
you
expansion in North America.
And if worse comes to worse, if you haven't already had it that way, why not just fucking apply for a college credit? At least you'll have that on your resume, and you'll be above all these other people, and you'll be like, and even if that doesn't work, just lie and say your parents are died in a car crash, and your baby has cancer.
The original
Just be like
crosstown
that
was
to the
first
fucking
supposed to open in 2020. With
cash
this latest
register when
goal,
you're the
the
manager when
delay
you're
will be
handing your
5
resume.
years. With 14
I don't know, it's
years of
complicated.
construction.
But there's some programs. There's some temp agency programs. There's
With the
job
arrival of spring,
fucking
construction
banks and
season
stuff.
is ramping up.
There's
and with it
websites I can
comes
show you.
inevitable
There's
headaches.
even programs with
Frustrated
like
Toronto
mental
residents have
health
filed
and
multiple
addiction
complaints
counseling
with Metrolinx over
and
noise from construction on the
and special
Ontario
needs
line.
and
But
special
Ontario
interest
Ritchie
groups that
reports
want
the
you, like
city's
church
noise
groups
bylaws do
and
not
then there's
apply
mental
to
health
provincial
groups,
or
whatever.
federal infrastructure
Like,
projects.
I've already told you,
Excavation work is currently
I've
underway
struggled
for
with
the
mental
Ontario
illness
line,
and
both here at
basically
Queen
just
Spadina and also
physical
at King and Bathurst.
issues in my
Metrolink says that the north
body.
side of this
Like,
intersection,
I'm not
work
well.
is ongoing 24/7.
And I think what a lot of it comes from the vegetable consciousness. You know, you got the wiring in your body is all cocaine out, for example.
That's crazy.
When
you need to have
weeded slowly to the point of absolute improgression when you just get sober and you realize
the
that,
city says construction
oh,
noise is not permitted.
this is the right
and
way
is
to
clearly audible from 7 p.m. to 7
correct
a.m.
myself.
or until 9 a.m. on
And
Saturdays, all day Sunday,
you push
and town
towards
holidays.
your goal a little
But
bit,
government works
and
are
you
actually
accept that
exempt from the
it
noise
needs a little bit
bylaw.
of effort
That amendment was made in
and a little bit
2019.
less distraction
It
for a
includes
second,
construction conducted
just
by
for
the
a second,
province and any of its
and
agencies,
you can
which
go
means,
and
you
you
guessed
can
it,
accomplish those things real quick.
So for those
and
projects,
everybody's got more
construction
friends than I
noises
do,
are
for
able
example.
to happen outside the
Just,
allowable hours.
go and help out a buddy or at least work together. You can always go and get on welfare and get an apartment or get a room.
Should that be allowed?
You know?
One expert says it's a
And when you get on welfare
but there has to be a
and you
balance
have like
between
anything
putting
problems, you'll probably
projects in a timely manner
have all sorts
and
of
considering
diagnoses
people's
in your
health and
life
well-being.
if you
It's hard for me
actually
to
have a
just
problem.
put on yes or no,
You
it's
know?
good or bad. There should
If
nonetheless
you got something
be
going on with you, then you need a
pretty
psychiatrist.
firm
And
application
you need like
use of all types of
professional
mitigation
help and
that
stuff.
exists. So if
I've
it
had
has to
professional
go
help
on, for
before,
example, beyond
and it's
the
really
normal hours of
done
construction
wonders
allowed
when
by
I
the
stopped
city.
fighting
There should be extra care taken
the
to
help
make sure
that I was
those
getting.
impacts are as minimal as possible. Whether
So-
that be additional sound barriers, using different types of equipment that's
The point
quieter.
is
Metrolink says
that
it's
it comes
making
from
every effort to
your
minimize
willingness to
impacts
try
to local
to
residents,
do what you want to
including
do.
using less disruptive equipment, and that it's monitoring noise levels. In a
And there's a
statement,
lot
the
of
agency
programs
said
available
we are
for you
working with our
if you
contractor
just
to explore
aren't-
different methods of
aren't
construction to help reduce
focused
noise as
on
work progresses. It says
the
acoustic
linear
shelters are
path
being
of
built,
success.
and
you
road
know?
headers are
There's
being
a little,
used, which
there's a little
allows for
curvature to
excavation
it,
with
and it
less
doesn't
noise
always
and
lead the way you
vibration.
think it's going to lead.
Residents like Lean don't feel there's enough mitigation happening, and certainly wouldn't describe the equipment as quiet. She, among others, have been filing complaints with Metrolinx and also demanding better communication about when the work is happening.
You call in the 24/7 hotline, they put in a complaint, we never hear back. So far, the reality has been...
So being a drug addict is fucking whack. But you got some good friends, and you make some good friends, and it can be lovely.
After several phone calls and emails,
like
she says
this song,
Metrolinx
for
did
instance,
provide
just
her with
reminds
an
me
air
so
purifier
much
and a noise machine,
of how much I
but
love
it hasn't made much of a
the
difference.
town and the people that I know and the surrounding life that you, like,
Toro
the
Yamo
life that
says
you,
there
I've
isn't
lived.
actually a lot of research
Just
done
bare
on the
naked
impacts of
ladies
construction noise,
falling for the
because the
bare
type of
naked
noise
ladies falling for the
disturbances
first
that are
time
studied are
is
usually more
probably the best
consistent, like the effects
song
of
that
living
I've
nearby
ever
planes
heard.
and trains.
But
You
with
know,
the city undergoing a
'cause
lot of construction in the coming years,
when
nearby
you're
residents should definitely
life's
be
short,
considered.
and you're only a drug addict for a little while, you know.
Especially with the
You're a drug
densification
addict,
you see in
and you got some
downtown,
friends, and you're all getting
projects
high,
are just affecting more
and
more
you're
people
fucked
because
up
there's
all
more
the
and more
time.
people
You're
in
going
close
through these
proximity
phases.
to them. So I think it's very important.
It's like
to follow best
it
practices.
was worth it,
and
man,
encourage,
because you had those
if not
experiences.
legislated.
Talia Ricci, CBC News,
It's not
Toronto.
gonna last forever, no matter what.
26-year-old
Everybody's
man
gonna
is
just
facing charges after
either
a gas
quit.
hose struck another man, causing life-threatening
You know,
injuries in
it's
Manitoba.
that ends.
It was reported that a man in his
that
20s was
automatically
leaving the gas station
understand
with the gas
that
nozzle
that
still
will
attached
end.
to his car.
No matter what
As
you
he
do,
left, the gas
something bad
hose
will
pulled
come
off
from
the
that.
gas tank
But
and struck
it's
a
the
man in his
actual
60s who
experience
was walking
that
by.
you experience
The
while
man was
living
struck
that
and
life
caused him to fall,
that
and he sustained
bypasses the
life-threatening
fact
injuries.
that what you're doing,
It happened at around 5:30 p.m.
like
at a Shell
getting
gas
high,
station on
isn't the
Burnhamthorpe
main
Road,
goal.
just west of Redforth Drive.
The
Police
point
say
of
the
getting high
26-year-old
is to
driver
have fun.
returned to the scene
You're having
and
fun.
has been charged with careless driving
Not just
and
getting high.
dangerous operation causing bodily harm.
So,
Donald Trump's trade war
you know,
appears
never
to
get
be
high on
having
your
a
own
significant
supply and
impact on the number of Canadians
try not to be
traveling
stoned
south of the
alone.
border. But data shows it's not really slowing down Americans heading north. And experts say there is a great opportunity for the hospitality and tourism industry to take advantage. Dale Manukduk has this story.
Destination Ontario recently
Life
did a
is
survey
charity.
of the U.S. market
Behold
to
the world
understand
and other
American
people.
travel intentions.
58% of Americans are still considering coming to Ontario to travel this
It's not
year.
always you give what
and there
you
are
get.
a few reasons for that. Number
It's not
one,
always you get what you give.
it's a very safe country.
Sometimes
Number two, we
you give
have
a
a
little
lot
bit,
of shared values.
and you
Ontario is
gain
known for
from
being
what you
very
lost.
diverse.
You
Number
know?
three, just
You might
booking
have
travel
lost
plans is
$50
easier.
American
to
tourists
the
make up
casino
about 20% of all
or more.
tourism
You
spending
could have
in
lost your whole
Ontario.
mortgage to
There
the
was a
casino,
drop-off in visitors after the COVID-19
but your life
pandemic, but
starts
it's slowly been creeping
when you
back to
lose
the norm.
those things because it's the moment that
This
you live
despite
in.
booing the American national anthem and various municipalities taking down the U.S. flag. The Destination Ontario survey
You know,
did find that
don't fail
Americans are
yourself.
concerned about how
But don't
welcome they are.
So
fail
normally we have
everybody
very
else
high
around you, you know?
favorability ratings there, but it's
Everybody
dropped
deserves
about
chance.
15%.
Canada Border Services
blossom.
data shows virtually no change in the number of Americans crossing the border in March of 2025.
And life can be hard, I
compared to the same
understand.
time
Life's
last
been
year.
really easy for me since I've really worked myself out. And I think that was a good choice that I made. And I don't see a lot of people making the same decisions and going down the same self-help path that I've seen some very successful
Perhaps
people.
the biggest reason Americans are still traveling
And,
here is the exchange
you
rate.
know,
It's basically a third
it kinda
off.
just comes
so
down
it's
to-
a great deal to come to Canada right now. So if you're paying
You know,
$200 on a hotel room, that's
finding
really
that inner peace
$60 a night.
to be the person that
So
you want to be
that's a
and say
pretty
the things that you want to say
substantial savings
without
coming across the border.
fear
Tourism Ministry of Ontario
of
is hoping
social
governments will
anxiety
add dollars
and stuff
into
like that.
showcasing
So
the
surround
province as a
yourself with your
destination.
own
The industry is
self-sustaining
almost up as it
ecosystem,
relates
you know?
to policy, but we remain
And don't let people
arms
in that,
open,
that can
for
that will overtake your
hospitality.
life
Dale
too.
Manukduk, CBC
Because there's
News,
people who
Toronto.
can really
Emergency crews had a busy
Let you
morning
lead you
after
astray, I
an overnight
guess.
blast of snow
There's
turned
some
roads
bad,
into skating
evil
rinks,
people.
leaving commuters wondering
and then there's
when will
just
the warmer weather
flat
begin?
out crazy people like
My
Donald
charge
Trump.
removed last month, thinking that it was spring.
Can you believe
I
that
guess it's
fucker?
not. So I'm probably
He's
going
just
to be
getting
staying here today
everybody to
until I
give
know
a
the
month.
roads are okay to drive on.
The richest guy that I've ever
What's normally
heard
a
of.
20-minute drive, so I wasn't super thrilled
Donald
about
Trump
that.
The wintry weather closing
forcing
multiple
everybody
roads
else
and
in the
highway
world to
off-ramps,
give
causing
him
countless
more money.
traffic jams, and the black ice creating treacherous conditions throughout the city. Toronto police
What is
say
the
there
end
were
goal for
multiple
Trump?
collisions. Many roads weren't treated with salt in the early
For what
morning
reason
hours,
is he
drawing
doing these
criticism from the mayor.
we knew that there was.
I understand Russia and Ukraine's conflict at the very particular moment more than I understand Trump's incentive.
Some kind of rain last night and snow this morning as to.
Hey, I'm a big nuclear warhead fan, right? But I'm also on the exact same side of Hideo Kojima when we say nuclear disarmament is an absolute must.
Just to clarify what's happening.
You know?
I'll see if I can find an
It's ironic, you know? It's ironic that the people, the idols and the icons and the leaders, they're supposed to represent the opposite of what I just said. They represent, they're supposed to represent one thing, but they represent the opposite, and I represent the opposite of what I even feel, you know?
All right, Khalil Hassanali joins us now with a first check on the forecast. And Khalil, lots of people not too pleased to look out the window and see all that snow this morning, I'm sure.
Definitely not. That was quite a shock to the
system. But a big nuclear warhead
now,
fan.
We're going to experience a little bit of a change, so I have a little bit of good news. So a little bit of cold weather for the overnight tonight.
I would like one in my backyard.
That might be the last time we're in the negatives for the rest of this season.
Happy Canada Day.
Summer. So let's hope for that over the next little while. But for the next 24 hours, it is going to be a little bit of a different story. So we have a little bit of a cool down still going to stay with us, and then we do have a little bit of rain, but then a better end to the weekend, and I'll get to that in just a little bit.
The funniest analogy I just thought of. You know how in Independence Day when they can't defeat them aliens with a nuclear warhead, they shoot a nuke at the fucking aliens, the alien spaceship, and it does nothing because there's a force field?
Hopefully that is one of the last times for this season, especially, and in April, that we will dip below the freezing mark. So -4
that's
is
like
what
Trump's
we're expecting
tariffs.
as we go through the rest of the day.
With all these people, they're like,
over the freezing
here's
mark,
a
hopefully once again we'll stay
25% tariff.
Little bit. As we are dealing with the temperatures tomorrow,
I've got another tariff for you.
Going to really affect us. So this is what we're looking at as we're going through.
Well, here's our tariff. We've got an invisible force field, and it's called a trade war. So
colder than it is. So going to feel closer to.
That's just nonsense. I can't believe that's happening.
Overnight.
This better not make my fucking chicken sandwich cost $9
which we're expecting for tomorrow.
It used to be $2.99 for $9.99. That wasn't a bad fucking deal.
Now we're looking at more of that going through the rest of the day, and that is going to be
for $14.57. That doesn't even rhyme.
Part of it as we go forward into Thursday, and that's going to hopefully be the most severe of the weather.
I think McDonald's is probably the best food on earth.
-6 under a clear sky.
You can go to McDonald's and you can get pretty much anything you want.
Under a mostly cloudy
McDonald's
sky.
even had
and then
pizza.
looking ahead over the next little bit,
but
we do have
I think their food's honestly really healthy.
Friday, a little bit of mixed weather.
You can eat a shitload of
by the end
McDonald's
of the weekend.
Supersize me.
Thank
Are you kidding me? That's not even that fucking. It can't be that fattening, dude. McDonald's.
Taste the bold difference.
Firstly, it just runs out your asshole as soon as you fucking finish it. But you can't afford enough to
North
fucking
of the
get
GTA,
fat.
a 78-year-old man is dead after being struck by a falling tree near Peterborough as the cleanup continues from last month's ice storm. It happened yesterday in the township of Otonabee South, Monaghan. OPP say a witness said they were clearing some damaged trees and one came down and struck the victim. Officers are reminding residents to be cautious as they continue the ice storm cleanup. Power is also still being restored. Around 32,000 people are still without power.
My head hasn't done a fucking crazy fucking loopy thing for a while.
Winds and heavy rain is slowing the process. We spoke to one resident in Kawartha
Lakes
who hasn't had power since the storm hit 10 days ago.
All of the apartments to the right, to the left of us, all the storefronts, everything across the street, the street lights have power besides us. We have what's called a secondary line, which is connected from our apartment to the main lines. A branch fell off during the ice storm that kind of knocked out the power. I really do hope that this gets taken care of sooner rather than later.
Safe, reliable source.
That this is going, I'm not optimistic on that front.
My safe, reliable source is my mom. She gives me cigarettes.
He says his apartment is averaging just 10 degrees, adding that while they could
count on my mom to get
family
me fucking
friends,
cigarettes.
they are sticking it out at home for
it happens, you know.
Hydro One says over 4,000 crew members have been deployed to help get power back to the remaining residents.
Like,
over 1 million homes
what if
and
I get sick
businesses
from smoking?
outages
It's not my mom's fault.
Public health officials in New York State are raising concerns.
I want to quit smoking, but I can't afford an alternative to it.
Ontario.
And I don't think gum
now lists our province
or patches
travel advisory,
are gonna
urging
fucking help
residents
me.
to get vaccinated before visiting.
I've really got to.
Ross has more.
I would really,
The New York State Department of Health says measles is only
really either need to sleep a lot
That was the opening line in a travel advisory they
or
put out last
fucking go
week.
for a run a lot.
Recent outbreak in Ontario with more than 600
To fucking
confirmed
quit
or
smoking.
probable cases.
It's really hard to quit smoking.
In decades.
For example, last year
I
was
hate myself because I
considered a
put
big
myself
year,
through a
and
lot of
there were
poison,
64 cases in 2024.
Infectious
and
disease
I rely
Dr.
on my
Isaac
family
Bogart says one
to apply
specific
that
area of the
poison.
province has been hit
It's
particularly
very
hard.
sad
This
because
outbreak is largely driven by
I just, like I said, smoking a fucking cigarette is like going through the gates of
not
heaven.
exclusively, but
some
predominantly
days.
in a Mennonite
You know?
community that is mostly unvaccinated.
Officials there say most of the cases they've seen have been in children, and it's put a strain on their healthcare system.
It's extremely busy for our region, for our health unit.
But now that I'm getting sick,
I
can feel
this, for decades.
my body's slowly declining.
You know, assigning and having additional staff work on
Hey, I
this.
just feel like I'm gonna die young.
Does not suggest
Already.
people should not travel to Ontario. It encourages
I gotta-
people to get vaccinated if they are
There's
not
no helping
already
me, dude.
to protect against
I
contracting
just gotta
the
kind of
virus.
be a little less.
You're up to date on your
I gotta
childhood
find that
immunizations,
vegetable consciousness that
and
everybody
have immunity to
approves
measles, there
of,
would be
you know?
no concern whatsoever.
The travel
You
advisory
don't always
lists
have-
a number of other countries that have had an increase in the
You know,
number
some of
measles
these
cases
terminologies and these
including Yemen,
ideologies
Pakistan,
came
India,
directly
Thailand,
from
and Ethiopia.
external
There have
influence.
also been nearly 500 cases reported in
You'd
the
be
US
watching the
this year.
TV and they'll be
Red
like,
Cross,
smoking
CBC
pot
Toronto.
makes you a lazy bum, and you'll
I vote every
deflate
time.
and you'll be anti-dissociative.
Never fail. Everyone in town is very opinionated. So that way it doesn't really surprise me.
And
As the GTA
then
struggled
you'll
with
won't
low voter turnout
you'll be
in the
thinking
last
about that all the
election,
time. You'll be like,
one
oh, I'm
Ontario
fucking
riding is
deflated,
told a
I'm
different
stupid, I'm
story,
fucking
boasting some of the
useless,
highest voter
I'm
numbers in Ontario.
repetitively
Coming up after the break, we
inactive
bring you the
and
latest part of our federal election
and
series,
dissociative,
Your Voice,
because that'll be in
Your
your
Vote.
mind.
Stay with
But if
us.
nobody ever said that to you, that wouldn't be going through your fucking mind. Especially somebody who you trust,
Only Pampers Cruisers 360 have a 360 stretchy waistband.
somebody who has you have a lot of faith in,
On every
but
wild
somebody
child,
who actually has
Pampers
too much
Cruisers
pride to
360,
ever take a fucking
#1
initiative
diaper.
into
What's going on? This is Trevor
understanding
Hart. Me and my muscle car crew are
the
working hard to
TV,
beat our 69 Camaro.
for example, is what I mean.
Shut your mouth.
We got each other.
I don't have any trust in TV after what I've fucking seen, dude. Unbelievable.
The stupid therapist here.
Can you believe this? I've got the TV on here, and it's like,
Why am I doing all this stupid homework if I'm not even sure if I'm
that's why I watch the news, because
Someday I hope you and the
everything else is full of subliminal messages and stuff.
Relationship. We are friends. I'm your therapist. We have sex. I do not want things to get weird.
So,
consider making
the news is just like, oh, I've turned my brain off to the subliminal messages, and I just see what I want to see on the news, which is what I'm familiar with. Everything else seems a little bit fucking scary and unusual.
Featuring an epic year. The best international league and
I can't defeat this anxiety that I have towards my mental health. I hate being alone. I never feel fully alone.
Always free. 24/7.
And I feel very alone anyway. And then when I go and I'm with somebody, I just want to be alone. I want to like have my heart broken or something.
You believe yourself?
Just to feel something. Like I was watching this girl with Tourette's on TLC the other day, and she was going with her life with Tourette's, and it was so beautiful because I thought she was such a special person, and it broke my heart because I could laugh and I could cry all at the same time because it was so unusual to see somebody so perfect, and for them to say, I know Jesus thinks I'm perfect and made me the way that I'm supposed to be, but I just don't see it. And I'm like, fuck what Jesus says. Listen to me, I think you are the fucking best. I think you are the best, you know? And I've never been to Sunday service. But I do have some church groups that I go to at my dad's. We do some online fucking church stuff. And we do a little bit of, you know, kind of fucking hanging out and with some friends and go to have an online over the phone pastor sermon. And you don't learn a lot from it, but it's just like, for me, for my dad, I guess it was just the same. It's better than school. Church is better than school. But it just doesn't last forever,
Welcome back.
you know?
Last week we told you
You've
about
got to find
alarmingly
something to
low
do.
voter turnout
It's
in
important to
GTA
you.
ridings in
And
the
you got to
last federal
fulfill that
election.
gratification
But just
yourself,
across
to live the
way,
lead,
the story is quite
and be the
different,
leader
with
in your
Niagara
life.
West recording some of the
that you
highest
need.
voter turnout in the province. Chris Glover heads out there to find out why.
Here in the riding of Niagara West, we found a bit of an anomaly when it comes to voting in Ontario.
I vote every time.
And you know,
Never failed.
Everyone in town is very opinionated. So
what I used to consider paganism, Satanism, as my focal points in the spiritual domain.
Trafficking in it every day for sure.
But it's so ironic that I've become a born-again Catholic. And it's not like
Outside of
I
the
don't
Ottawa
believe in,
area, this
I can't
riding
believe
saw
in
the
any of
highest
it.
voter
But I
turnout
consider
in the
myself more of a
province in the
Catholic
last
now than I am a
election,
Satanist.
just over
Because I used to be
71%.
angry.
It doesn't
I used to scream.
like everyone in town
I used to be violent and scream
doesn't really
and aggressive
surprise me.
and hate things.
One way or the other, we're all very strong.
And since I turned my life
It's
around,
because in a smaller town, a
I'm
smaller
not
area like
angry
this, maybe
anymore.
people are
I'm not
closer
angry right
to
now at all.
levels of government, to municipal services,
I may be sick,
provincial, federal services, so maybe
but I'm not
they
even disappointed.
see the workings of government more closely. I don't know.
It could be. Our mayor is out a lot.
Yeah, she was here today. Mayor, this almost sounds like a dumb question, but have you ever missed a vote?
I don't think so.
I know that I'm sick.
I was going to suggest probably not.
Yeah, no.
What's the
But
secret sauce?
life's not
This
perfect,
is
you
an
know?
agricultural community. These are well-educated
If life was
people, and they
perfect,
have
then this would be
two
easy.
duties. Farming is very scientific work. They know that in order to be successful in attracting attention at that level, you've got to be tuned in and you have to be engaged, and they are. And they have expectations.
I think people just feel if you're
And you know what? I find it pretty easy.
vote, then you don't have a right to say anything.
But that
So,
would be true
maybe
across
that's just
the
the way
province,
life
so what's
is, you
different
know?
about it here?
You're going to come to terms with it.
People are more aggressive.
You don't seem that aggressive.
Oh, watch those
There's time. There's always time for
They'll
something.
get you.
Pretty nasty.
I'll admit I'm kind of a political junkie. I used to be a director of a library over at Queen's Park at the Legislative Assembly, so so I do follow politics and events around elections and other kinds of things happening in government quite actively, which is also why I vote. That's right. As I say, I can see what the implications are, both if you vote and if you don't vote.
What do you mean by the implications if you don't vote?
Yes, I'm interested in what this
Well,
woman's
for
saying.
one thing, I'm not sure that you really have the right to complain about what's happening if you don't at least try to exercise your vote. I mean, obviously, you don't always get the results that you hope for when you vote, but as I say, I do think it's important to be engaged in that process. And we're lucky that we live in a democracy where we can have that option of voting.
Why do you think you've always found it important or had an interest in politics?
One of the reasons is because I am a young, queer, chronically ill woman. So a lot of it, especially politics now, they're weaponizing my identity and my experience and the experiences of others for fear tactics or for brownie points, one thing, people are afraid. People like me are afraid that our rights are going to be taken away, so we vote. People on the other side are worried that they're going to pay higher taxes. All of it.
In terms of reasons why it might be a higher.
So my friend there, who I met, is an older fella. He's about in his 50s.
Those are all things that would be true right across the
that's
province of
old
Ontario.
nowadays.
What else do you think might be contributing to that?
We are in a
He had a really good time.
So people have the options to vote. People have the education to know
In
what to
South
vote for,
America,
or to know how to go
in
about
the country
that.
of Colombia.
There's a lot of
He
accessibility.
said that was the best time of his
which is
life.
fantastic. That a lot of more rural areas.
And then he
wouldn't
comes
get.
here to Canada
It's
and he says this is
easier.
the biggest
Every
shithole
election,
he's
you look at
ever
politicians and say
been
this is the
to.
most important election of their lifetime. But, you know, I'm going to now say this is one of the most important elections of our lifetime because, you know, and I think there is that sense. Now, the question is, does that translate into voter turnout? And I think that's going to really be determined by the parties and our political leaders, whether they mobilize people with a positive message.
Well, not a beer. That was called having a beer.
In
I'll be back
2015
tomorrow.
here, we saw the greatest increase in